did your children know? Did they know that there was a problem?
No, they didn't because I was so young. They were like 5 and 2. So when I went into rehab, the kids were 5 and 2.
Yeah.
Having said that, I went and studied. So I left the city and I semi-retired at 50. I thought I've got enough now. I'll just, and it was all invested and everything was fine. Within 2 years, I was sitting in a rehab. And then I think 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I, um, well, 6 years ago, I went and studied. 7 years ago, I went and studied. 2.5 years, became a therapeutic counsellor, and then um, set up a website to put myself out there to help people, right? Not just with drink and drugs. I help a lot of professional people all over the world. Netflix executives, crypto traders, bankers, brokers, financiers, private equity guys, all sorts of issues. So I put this website out and it said my story. And I thought, oh my God, this is now going to go public. And I got asked to do some podcasts and I jumped on LinkedIn. I'm very, very, if you've seen my stuff on LinkedIn, I'm very, very open. I'm
Hmm.
very,
Hmm.
very open about my journey. I've don't, all that guilt, shame, remorse, embarrassment, I've dealt with it. I am 9.5 years clean and sober now. And I help people. I've got nothing to be ashamed of. I'm happy with the person I am today. But I had to sit down with my children, and they were at this stage 14 and 12. I sat them down and I said, guys, I need to speak to you about something. And it's not a great thing to be sitting with your children and really exposing your ultimate vulnerability,
Hmm.
your ultimate piece of shame. Um, and I said, look, I've been, studying to become a counsellor, and I don't drink. They didn't know anything about the drugs at all. And I said, look, I need to tell you something now, and this is not going to be easy for me. And I said, look, I had a problem with this substance called cocaine. My son had heard of it because they do, I think, drug awareness stuff in schools and all this sort of stuff. My daughter didn't really understand what was going on. And I started to struggle. I was about to start crying actually because it's not really anything you want to do. But they were really, really good. So they now know everything, and they haven't. I said to them, look, this is an open-ended conversation forever. You can come and talk to me about anything about my past, my history, anything at all, and I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. And I'm going to be very, very honest with you. And the reason I do that is because I actually want to model to my children truthfulness. I want to model to my children about being genuine, about being authentic, about being real, and say to them that, this stuff is coping mechanisms. It's not good. You need to be aware of it. So I'm sort of twisting it to be an educational process, and to also to model to them that I'm not, I'm your dad, and no matter what you think of me, I do have defects of character and I have made mistakes. But I'm modeling to my children that I got up off the deck. I spend my life in a worthy cause, and I tell them I love them unconditionally. They're everything to me, um, and yeah, it's that modeling stuff is as much about, that was important for me to model that sort of behavior to them as much as to tell them the truth, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, incredibly brave conversation.